Hello Aquarius, Elsie here to do your reading. It is for the week ahead. Aquarius, how are you? I hope you're well. Thank you so much for clicking here. Look, we got one oracle deck. We're going to use that for the overall energy for the week ahead, and then we're going to throw some tarot at it. Aquarius, if you've never been here before, thanks for rolling up on all these shenanigans. Welcome here. And if you have been here before and you keep coming back, I appreciate you the most. At the end of this video, we are going to talk about how you can find the extended reading if you're interested, and also if you're interested in a private read, how that goes down as well. All the info is at the end of this video. All right, and if you're brand new, I hope you'll stay. Welcome, welcome. Let's find out about the smarty pantses. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. What's coming up in the week ahead for Aquarius, please? We've got blessed. All right, something's about to go right. You're about to get some sort of stability in your life because of some type of download that's going to allow you to see something clearer than you have been seeing it in the past. So look at this. We've got a theme. So we've got the yin. So look, we've got 2, 2, 2 is what we've got here. So you might be seeing twos, but this could also indicate that life is about to come into balance because of some sort of realization or some sort of information you're receiving in a dream, through a download, through meditation. It feels, you know, we've got pink and purple, right? Pink is the crown chakra, while the deeply violet color here is the third eye. So it does feel like, I feel like somebody here is noticing their blessings. And please understand that I don't think that you're someone who is not in gratitude, but I feel like maybe there's something you missed, and I think you're going to be seeing it this week because you're in this observer energy. Isn't this interesting, right? The yin is the energy that we have here. The yin is the energy, is the feminine energy, right? Yin and yang. Yang is the masculine, yin is the feminine. Card number two, when it comes to tarot, and I'm always going to liken it to tarot major arcana because that's what I primarily read. So card number 2 to me is balance, yes, but it's also the high priestess energy, which tells me that your intuition, your psychic energies, they're all on high. You might have gotten this over the full moon in Aquarius, which we just had. Today is the new moon in Virgo. So it's like the full moon in Aquarius brought all the feelings to the surface and cut out a bunch of stuff you didn't need. You released a bunch of things. And now this new moon in Virgo, which we're in today, the new moon is asking you to clear all those things out to make room for the new things. And guess what? I think you're making room for new things. Oh, I love it. Look, this is my favorite card in the deck because it tells me that you're in transition. You're making progress. You're right where you're supposed to be, Aquarius. You're making progress. We do have the Between Worlds card. So you've still got your tail feathers in the black and white here. I feel like life went from black and white to technicolor. And it feels like there was something that you weren't seeing. I think you were chasing glittery things. Like I think you were chasing shiny things, possibly. All that glitters is not necessarily gold. You can see there are some masks that are sitting atop this big hill of gold. Because look, some things in our lives are solid gold and some are gold plated. And I think that you kept tripping across things that were gold plated. Look, we have serendipity. There's some sort of really good thing that is going to be showing up here that you know nothing about, because serendipity is card 18, which is the moon. And we do have milk and honey. For some of you, card number 651 could mean that it's love, but for others of you, it feels like it is just health, wealth, things at the end of the rainbow, feeling good in your skin, that kind of thing. But it feels like you've been chasing the shiny thing. So what I mean by it looks good on the outside, then it must be good for me. I feel like you've been doing that, but I feel like somebody here has gone through some sort of a death and a rebirth, it feels like, because that's really what the full moon and the new moon is, right? The death and the rebirth. And of course, because today we have the sun and the moon in the same sign, it's like it's like a light went on. It's like you walked in, flipped on the light, and you saw things that you didn't see before. You might have been observing those things because you are a great observer, but I feel like there is something that you didn't see until now. All right, let's get some tarot. Oh yes, this is a 13. So yes, look, we are in the midst of transformation. You're in transition. You're between worlds, friend. So it feels like you haven't quite yet completed the transformation, but now at least you see where you're going. The light is on in the room, is what it looks like. Tell me about Aquarius, please. What else do we need to know about Aquarius? Tell me more about Aquarius. What do we need to know? We've got the Two of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles. Are we going for three? I thought we might have three Pentacles. We've got the Four of Wands. I kind of get it. I see what's going on here. It looks like with the Two of Pentacles that we've got another two, right? We've got a bunch of twos, which indicates, and a four, which indicates what's happening here is you're transitioning into a stable part of your life. It doesn't mean that you were unstable, right? It just means that things are firming up just a little bit. Maybe, okay, my guide, Charlie, who's always hanging around, especially during the readings, is showing me, you know those water bridges? Now, there are ones that hang over the water, but there are those ones that are on the water, and you're supposed to see if you can run across it without falling off into the water. It's like it's been wobbly for you, is what it feels, as though it's been wobbly, and now you're about to build a foundation that's solid. You're about to get to solid ground, because we have three pentacles here. It starts with a decision to actually do something with the information that is been given to you. So look, we can get downloads till the cows come home, right? But if you don't do anything with that information, it's really kind of useless. I feel here that you are making a decision to plant a pentacle or to materialize something, to build a foundation of something, stability, something that is going to give you stability. Blessed, right? So 2 and 2 is 4. We've got another 2 here, and it tells me balance, stability, and making really good decisions here. I think life is keeping you very busy, and it might be because you're very blessed. Tell me more. We've got the High Priestess. You're listening to your intuition. So you definitely have received these downloads, and I feel as though you're being quiet about it at this time. The moon energy is here, and the moon energy tells me that maybe it was always in your wheelhouse or in your vortex, I'm going to say, but you didn't necessarily notice it. And it might be because you were in the midst of shadow work. It feels like somebody here kept getting rapid downloads, because we have 22 and then we have 2 and we have pink and purple all over the place. It feels like somebody was getting rapid downloads, and it may have taken you some time to digest all of that. The moon energy is here. It feels like shadow work's been going on in the silence. I feel like you've been sort of maybe busy, not necessarily busy in the 3D world, but busy juggling downloads, information, intuition. It feels like somebody's going through some sort of an awakening, or if it's not an awakening, friend, it's a clarity. Like you get a great clarity of what's going on here. Because I feel like whoever I'm talking to is you wouldn't be getting all these downloads if you weren't already awake to some respect. But understand that we have one major awakening that makes us aware, and then after that we have a bunch of ascensions. So this could definitely be an ascension, which would make complete sense between the Aquarius full moon and the Virgo new moon, that you would be going through an ascension and you would be in the middle of it, right? That's what it feels like here. So we do have the 8 of Pentacles. It feels as though there's that you've been doing a lot of work on yourself. It feels like self-mastery. I'm paying attention to myself. You're probably exercising more. You're probably studying. It feels like somebody is taking in something. So whether that's better food for my body, better information. Maybe I've decided to put my phone away and power it down and turn it off overnight. It feels like somebody here is on a, I want to call it a diet, whether that's a diet from social media or you're watching what you put in your mouth. Maybe you're eating for fuel now rather than eating for pleasure. That's what the 8 of Pentacles is telling me, that you've really looked over the situation and realized, look, I'm here in this life. Not everybody gets to live this life, which totally means I'm blessed right off the hop, because a lot of people don't make it as far in life as you have, Aquarius, up to now, right? I'm 57 and I'm aware that there's a lot of people that are gone before me. Not a lot of people made it to my age. So I think that you're looking at life in a way that, we've got the 8 and the 10, that you know that you're here for a long time. but I feel like you also know that it's time to get the shadow work done. It feels like it's time to listen to the intuition. It feels like your high priestess energy is awakening you. So I think I'm talking to somebody who is quite psychic. Maybe you have water in the chart, but maybe you're an Aries Pisces cusp. We do have the Page of Swords and the Six of Swords. We have the Observer, and the Page of Swords is the Observer. So it feels like there's lots of observation going on. It feels like you've been watching everything, taking notes, subliminally taking notes in the subconscious, and then all of a sudden, everything comes to light. It all of a sudden makes sense. Tell me about this Ace, because I want to say with the Yin that you've been waiting. The Yin never pushes forward. The Yin holds space, and the Yin waits for attraction to happen. So I want to say that you could be a feminine that I'm talking about, but I feel like the Yin is telling me more that you've been waiting for it to come to you, that you haven't been out there, walking the deserts of the Sahara trying to find your spirituality. You're not doing that stuff. You're waiting. Maybe you've already done that stuff, but you're waiting for whatever downloads you were supposed to get, whatever. Maybe you're a person who's been meditating for a while and you just didn't feel connected to it. It feels like this is the connection, the Ace of Pentacles. We've got the Four of Cups. We've got the Page of Cups. And we have the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. Well, it seems to me that someone here has had a flip. It feels to me like you were a person who is maybe very focused on your pentacle world, on your money, your things, your stuff, your material possessions. And I feel like these downloads that you're getting are opening your eyes to a wider world. And I feel like the wider world is saying to reject the things of the material world. Now, let me just explain that, because I'm not telling you to sell all of your stuff and take a vow of poverty. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that maybe was your focus before. Maybe you felt your worth in the material possessions you owned. I feel like somebody here has had a change of mind. It feels like it's a shock or a surprise to you that the Queen of Pentacles is in the reverse. And so now you've realized with the downloads and that money is really simply just for balance. Money is for balance. Material things are for balance. So to live in excess is gluttonous. It feels like, and I'm not saying that it is, okay? I'm just saying that this is what I'm feeling. It feels as though with the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse that someone's come to the realization that I need to reject Four of Cups. I need to reject the Queen of Pentacles energy and the Ace of Pentacles. It feels like you have come to a realization. Things are now real in the Pentacle world, and you're now seeing the things that you need rather than all of the things that you wanted, which tells me that you've actually come to a place of stability where you've realized that things that are external to you don't have value. That it feels like you no longer are holding the value in the things that are external to you. And it doesn't mean that money's not good for you. It doesn't mean having excess money isn't good for you. It just means that I think that you have, in a surprise change of fortune, it looks like, that you're thinking the opposite of what you did. That's what it feels like here. We have the Four of Wands and we have the Observer. It feels like you're now observing life from a place of what makes me happy, what makes me excited, what makes me feel celebratory. It's like money was in the way, and I think that you thought that buying things would make you happy, but now you're really seeking out stability, happiness. You're seeking out celebratory things. You're seeking out balance, right? It's 11, another 2. Look, this whole reading is about getting you back into balance. And I think that the way you're getting back into balance is, look, she's got all of these wands in a bag that she's dragging up the stairs. I feel like you've been dragging around material possessions with you, or dragging around things that you purchased. It feels like you thought that those things were your worth, but they weren't. I feel like the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse is telling me, now what I realize is it's good health. Good wealth is actually good health, stability. It's having what I need instead of spending gluttonous amounts on what I don't need, because you are no longer trying to soothe your soul with material wealth. You are now realizing that what's super important here is the stability you have with friends, a happy home, celebratory things. I think that this observer here is really starting to realize the transition is almost complete. We have the Hanged Man. We have the Queen of Cups. It's made you a little bit softer, Aquarius. And the Three of Pentacles. Now, I think this is really lovely because it feels like now your building blocks or your foundation is built upon emotion or love, kindness, compassion. And the thing is, you're the humanitarian. You've always had kindness, compassion, loving kindness. But I feel like you now have a different perspective, which is Hanged Man energy. You're now realizing maybe I can sacrifice some things. The Hanged Man is about sacrifice. And it feels like maybe I can sacrifice some things. Maybe I can sacrifice the 10,000 square foot house and move into 5,000 square feet. It feels like somebody here is building a more stable foundation from a place of love rather than a place of material wealth. Let's talk about being between worlds here. Tell me about between worlds for Aquarius. Oh, we've got the Judgment card. It's a decision that you're making. The Two of Swords is here, and guess what? The person on the Two of Swords has their eyes covered. They're not making decisions based on what they see. What you see is material possessions. They're making decisions on what they feel. Because there's water in the background, eyes are covered. This person's feeling out the situation. The universe has put you in a place which asking you to feel it out rather than to believe what you see. Because what you see on the surface isn't always what it's about. We've got the Magician. And I just feel like it's... you start to see your worth. You start to see that you are the magician, that you have so many more opportunities and options than you had before. It feels like the change is almost complete, I'm going to say, with this Between Worlds card here, and that the Judgment card tells me that you're about to be born into a new cycle, and this is the new cycle. We are in the new moon in Virgo, in fact. So you're about to be born into a new cycle by making a major decision in your life that tells me that you're deciding now to feel your way through things. And it's not like you're not going to use your intellect and your sharp wit and all that kind of stuff that comes with swords, but it feels like you are going to now feel things out because the Magician, although the Magician, the Magician has all the aces, the Magician has all the resources and skills and all of that. The Magician is also about illusion, about creating magic in the life. So I feel like you are starting to feel out your resources rather than looking at them as building blocks or material wealth stones. You're looking at them as emotion, is what it feels like. Okay, so we're going to put down 3 cards here. We're going to go into the extended. And if you're interested in being there, please look at the top of all of the comments. At the very top, there's a pinned comment. And in that comment, there is information on how to find the extended. There's a link there if you want to purchase this extended one-off. There's a link there for the membership area if you want to see more than one extended for any of your other signs. And also, if you're interested in a private reading, I am doing pre-recorded readings as well as readings that are live, and anywhere between 5 and 75% off those readings. And you get to ask me as many questions in the live readings as you can in the time frame that you've chosen. You'll simply get a discount just for booking. So let's find out what we're going to talk about in the extended. So we're going to still go back and we're going to clarify a bunch of this stuff. Definitely what's going on between worlds and the decision that you've made. But let's find out what else we're talking about. We're talking about discipline. We're talking about stability and balance. We're talking about getting your stability back, but realizing that you had been sacrificing the self for material wealth. Because that's how you were probably raised. That's what society taught you, that you don't have any worth unless you have wealth. I think that somebody here was sacrificing their physical, mental health, really was at the edge of, I think that's why you started taking care of yourself. It feels like that your health was probably compromised, or your mental health was probably compromised. It feels like it takes some discipline, that you realize that pentacles are not only money, and I always tell you guys that it's not only money, it's time, energy, it's wealth, it's health, It's a lot of things. It's not just financial. And I think that's what you're realizing as the observer now. Bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Swords. And I love that because that is the card of transition. You've decided that where you were was far too chaotic, and where you're going to is going to be a calmer place. And you're going to take your time getting there because now you're living with intention. All right, I'm going to leave that right there. I'm going to go into the extended. If you'd like to be there, you know how to get there, and I will see you there. And if I don't, that's okay, because I'll be back, because I'm always back. You guys take care of yourselves and be well. Bye-bye.